Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're getting set up now. The webinar is going to begin in about 5 minutes. So thank you, everybody that's here, and we're just waiting for some more attendees, and we will be opening the doors soon. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for attending, for taking time out of your day to join us. We're going to get started now with how to get your photography business off the ground in under 2 months in 4 simple steps. Also, if you haven't, you might want to download the workbook right now so that you can fill it out as you go through and follow along, or you can download it to fill out later, whatever works best for you. My name's Scott Sylvia, and in this webinar, you're going to discover how to get your photography business off the ground. 4 simple steps in just 8 weeks. We're going to guide you through a structure to 1, develop your plan, 2, create profitable pricing, 3, bring in your first clients, and very importantly, step number 4, make the sale. And just before I keep going, can everyone hear me? Just type in yes if you can, please.
It's lagging, so just continue.
Okay, so anyway, I just want to mention, please stick around to the end, and we're going to go through these 4 steps and give you guys lots of great information. And if it's okay in the end, I just want to ask you if it's all right if we offer you a special enrollment in our complete roadmap for launching your photography business, which will cover everything. We don't have time to go through everything in step by step. And also at the end, we're going to have a question and answer session. So as you go through, if something pops into your mind that you're unclear of, please jot it down and then you can ask that question later. We're going to get focused because what you're about to learn can literally change your career and life. We want to make sure you don't miss a step. So right now, if you have your phone on, you might want to put it on silent, close out of Facebook and any other social media so that you can really focus and get the most out of this webinar. But first, as promised, we're going to be giving away a really nice collapsible reflector. It's the one I use. It's a 43-inch. It's pretty huge. You can use it for a translucent reflector to let just some light in. Has a silver side, a gold side, which is really powerful. And you can also just use it as a black just for shadow. But first, the trivia question. Can you guess what brand of camera and lens I use? Megan's going to check for the first answer that is correct. It was in the pictures of me, just as a little clue. Okay. It looks like we have a winner.
Roace.
Roace. Congratulations, Roace. You just won a 43-inch collapsible reflector. And Megan will touch base with you to get your information so that we can send that to you. Okay, thanks everyone for participating in that. So who is this training for? If you're already working full-time to support your family and have very little time to spare, I'm going to show you how to start your business on the side in just a few hours a week. Perhaps you're a stay-at-home parent or retired and just want to make a bigger impact with your family. You want to turn your passion into a job, and we're going to help you do that with minimal investment. Maybe you've been trying to get your business off the ground, but it just hasn't been going as effectively as you had hoped. We're going to show you how to take the most effective action so that you can get that traction, so that you can start getting your name out into the community and stop being known as the go-to photographer. So we're going to have a little poll right now. Where are you at this time? Are you A, working full-time with little time to spare? B, a stay-at-home parent looking to get it started? C, already trying, but maybe struggling a bit? Or D, in another category? Let us know. We're going to give you a minute here to type in your answer. Okay, the answers are coming in. Going to give it a few more seconds just to see what the winning answer is. Okay, it looks like most of you are in category C, already trying to make a business work but struggling, followed by working full-time with little time to spare. I would say we have about 40% in category C, followed by 35 in category A. Okay, thanks everyone. That's good to know. What led me to this training? Just to give you a little background on myself, I graduated from college with a textile and business degree and went to work in my field, which was textiles. I worked at a company for 10 years and did my photography on the side, like a lot of people. And even though I loved photography, we were kind of taught that you find a good job and you stay with that company till you retire. And that's not the case anymore. But can everyone relate to that? Do you have a job that you stick with sometimes? You don't love it, but it's the safe option? Just type in yes or no, just to give us an idea how everyone feels about that. Okay, as those answers come in, I think a lot of people can relate to that. This is me with big glasses and more hair. Back in the 90s, I made it to production manager of the plant, and it was a good paying job. And then actually I was on the Cape Cod, taking a week-long photography seminar. And when I came back the following Monday, I learned that the company was shutting down. So there I was out of a job, so much for the job security. Have any of you ever been laid off or afraid your job isn't as secure as you thought it was? If you can agree with that, type in yes. Looks like we have a lot of yeses coming in. So anyway, this is a old picture a long time ago, my two little girls and my wife. And the first morning of unemployment, I woke up a little panicked. I still had a family to support, but got out of bed and just started thinking about what I could do. And to be honest, I finally realized that this was opportunity in disguise. It was giving me the push to finally get serious and to go after my photography career. I didn't want to go back into textiles. Actually, textiles in this area where we live in Rhode Island and Massachusetts was starting to die off. Most of the plants were down south, which even down there nowadays, it's overseas. But I decided it's now or never that I need to get this going if I'm going to follow my dream. So I did it. I just got started. I was reading every photography book and business book I could find at the time. There was no such thing as the internet back then, not to age myself. I tried dozens of marketing strategies, tested pricing models, and just continued to improve. And it did work. Over the next couple of years, I actually made more money than I was making at the company I worked for. I woke up excited to get to work, and I made my own schedule. I was able to spend time with my family and friends and actually have some hobbies on the side. I've been running Scott Sylvia Photography now for about 20 years. We're an award-winning portrait studio in Rhode Island. We started Hobby to Pro to help hobby photographers like you turn your passion into a profitable business. There's a lot of information out there on how to take better pictures, but not really a lot of information on the business side of it, and that part of it is vital. A lot of hobby photographers end up giving up because they don't understand all the work that's involved in running the business. And it's a lot of competition today with what we call the shoot and burn photographers that just do a session and give someone a disc. And sometimes they drag down the public's perception of what photographers do and what people normally would pay for a professional portrait. Our mission is to help make the business side more manageable. And it's been incredible. We've been doing this for about 8 months now, and between our Facebook group and email subscribers, we have over 15,000 people now. And it's just unbelievable and shows that there is a need for this type of information. And it's really humbling, and we're really thankful that so many people have signed up and become a part of our community. To get things started, we've created 5 simple levels that all photographers go through in order to reach true success. Can you identify which one you're at? And if you can, it will be much easier to understand the steps necessary to move to the next step. So we're going to do another little poll. What step are you at? Are you at A, a hobbyist, just for fun? B, amateur, starting to do some work for free or at low rates? C, a part-timer, bringing in paid clients on the side while you work another job? D, what we call semi-pro, you already have a real business, but you're looking to improve it. And E, a seasoned pro, you have a profitable business and are able to demand a premium price for your work. Please take a second now to type in where you're at. Okay, the answers are starting to come in. Okay, it looks like most of you, well, it's changing a little bit as we speak, but right now the winner seems to be that most people are at level B, amateur, with about 38% of the vote. Next looks to be part-time, and then followed by semi-pro. So that's good to know. So most of you are actually out there trying to get it started. There's not too many hobbyists, but that's okay too. If you're at that level, we all start at that level. But it looks like we have a lot of amateur that you're kind of doing the work for low rates or for free right now. Okay, thank you for your answers. Are you ready to move up to the next level? The purpose of this training is to slash the time it will take for you to move up to part-timer and semi-pro. We're going to take you through 4 steps to finally bringing in your first paying clients and getting a profitable business off the ground. Just imagine what your life would be like, spending your days photographing clients that you love and that love you, setting your own schedule, giving you some time to do your other passions and hobbies, making a great living while doing it. How different would your life be? This was a little study by the UN conference. They found that happiness is a positive correlation, that there is a positive correlation between happiness and self-employment, both in America and European data. So this shows that it's kind of a worldwide thing. It's not just us in the US here, although some of you people that are watching and listening to us now are not in the US. What does this mean to you? According to US Labor Bureau statistics, photography has the 4th highest concentration of self-employment, behind door-to-door salesmen, which I didn't realize even existed anymore, farmers, and writers. So what does this mean? It means starting a successful photography business is a proven possible thing that any of you can do. I did it, and plenty of other people do it. It's a business that does work. It's just you need to know some of the basics behind the scenes type of stuff. So are you ready to jump in? Let's get ready to look at the 4 important steps to getting your business off the ground. 4 steps to a successful photography business. Step 1, you need to develop a plan. Step 2, you need to create profitable pricing. Step 3, of course, you got to book your first clients. And then once you do your session, step 4 is you want to make the sale. We're going to start, of course, with step 1, developing your plan. Many new photographers jump into business without a plan, and I did that myself. It may seem to work at first. You get a few people in, you get friends of friends, you feel the excitement of getting paid for your work, but then reality kicks in when people stop coming or you try to raise your prices and you find some resistance to that. And you're kind of thinking, what do I do now? Many new photographers give up. We don't want that to happen to you. Without a roadmap, they become overwhelmed and stuck, not knowing their next step. You need to become clear on specifically what you do and who you do it for. Like I said, when I first launched my business, I didn't have a clear path. I didn't have a clear plan. I kind of did it seat of the pants. At the beginning, it was difficult to keep the momentum going because I didn't have a clear vision. But then once I decided to write down who my clients were going to be and work toward that goal, things began to spread and take off quicker. You can follow along in your workbook. There's a few main pieces to your vision plan. A, you want to have goals. B, a specialty. C, know who your client is. And D, that's going to create a little niche for you. So let's go through them now. I'm going to just take a little drink of water. I'm sorry. It's much easier to reach your goals when you're specific about them. Without clarity, you're going to be tempted to give up. Whenever you know what you want and you can see that vision in your head, it's going to be much easier to get to it. So what type of goals do you have? Let's look at some. How many hours a week do you want to work? How many clients per week do you want? How many clients per week can you handle and still give good customer service? What is your desired income? And then as far as your lifestyle, what do you want days off? Do you want weekends off, Mondays off? What do you want free time to do? In your finances, you need to figure out how much money you will bring in so that you can support your family or yourself. You can take a minute to jot those answers down. I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. And just remember, you can always go over the workbook after we're done with the webinar. So don't feel that if you don't have an answer that you have to rush through it right now. It's better that you think about this and give it some serious thought. Okay. I'll give you a couple more seconds. Okay, let us know. What's your number one goal or motivator for getting your photography business launched? Just in a word or two. Okay, we see some typing going on. Just type it in, please. Okay, we got a few answers coming in. This might be something that you need to give a little more thought, so I'm going to keep going on, but I would say it's a lot of things such as financial freedom, freedom to spend time with your family, independence of creating your own job, which is a big thing these days because Tiffany's looking for extra income, Angela income as well, John freedom to follow my passion. Okay, thanks guys. A lot of similar answers, and it's an important thing in this day and age because job security isn't what it used to be, like I found out, and that was years ago. Thanks again, guys, for participating. B, what is your specialty? The next order of business is going to be determining your specialty. Most new photographers are willing to do any and every type of photography. I remember one photographer saying he would photograph dirt, which I think is going a little too far. It's great to try different areas to find out what you like, and I suggest you do that. But when you're ready to start your business, it's a great idea to pick one as your specialty. It's much easier to become known for one thing than for everything. And people will ask, why limit myself? And you're not really going to limit yourself, but the example I give is if you go into a restaurant, you're going out to eat and you're in the mood for Mexican food, and down the street is an authentic Mexican restaurant where they hand make the tortillas and they make the fresh salsa and they grind the guacamole right in front of you. And then the other side of the street is a restaurant that offers Italian, and they also have Mexican. There's some burgers, there's some Asian dishes. Which one are you going to go to? I know which one I would choose. I want the authentic one. It's the same thing with your photography. When I first started, I decided, since I had young children and mostly photographed my children and other children their age, that I would become known as a children's photographer. So to set yourself apart and attract the right clients, you want to be a specialist. And your specialty is going to be the intersection of your passion, the market need, and your skill. Maybe you live in an area that you choose a little different area, then it's completely your passion because there's a need in that market for that type of photographer. That's okay too. But most of the time, if you follow your passion, you will gain the skill that you need by, let's say, like I did, photographing little children, learning how to work with them, what makes them laugh, what makes them smile, that type of thing. So what is your specialty going to be? You get to choose one specialty, but this is where you're going to branch out also. You're going to choose complementary services. Example, if you're a wedding photographer, you're going to offer engagement sessions, and you're also going to probably offer newborn and baby sessions because the brides are going to start a family down the road. Or if you're the children's photographer, you're going to offer babies and then family portraits because the families are going to want to get in some of those. So you will branch out and you will offer things, but it's best to be known as a specialty. So what's your specialty going to be? And what are your two complementary services going to be? This is something that you might want to give some thought to, but just to have some fun, if you know it off the top of your head, please type it in, and we're going to take another poll. So take a few seconds and type in what you would like to specialize in. As you type too, through the years, sometimes your specialty will change and morph into something else. Okay, we're starting to get some answers in. Allison says newborn and child photography. Boy, they're coming in fast. I'm having trouble keeping up with them. Cindy is wedding photography and kids. Christine is children and teens. Eric, black and white heirloom images, fine art, portraits, and children. That's really good. That's really niching down to a certain thing to be known as. Okay, that's some great answers there, guys. C is, who is your ideal client? When you can become clear on who you want to serve, it will become 100 times easier to get in front of them and to book sessions with them. This is really a key idea. I can't emphasize this one enough. You want to get quality clients. You don't want to be the photographer that serves just anyone and everyone. Your quality client wants to feel like your services were tailor-made for them. They want a photographer who understands their lifestyle and the stage that their life is at. And they want to know that they feel at ease that you work with people similar to them. So those are things to really consider. That's why you really want to give this some thought. You might have a couple different ideal clients. For each, you consider these different areas. For demographics, are they male or female? Are they parents? What is their age? What is their income level? Geographically, do they live in your town? Do they live in the surrounding towns? Maybe they work in the city and they live in the suburbs. Behavior-wise, where do they shop? What websites would they visit? What magazines do they read? Where do they vacation? Are they looking for an experience with a photographer? Are they looking for more than just somebody to snap those pictures and burn a disc? They want to have fun at the session. They want someone that would take them through the complete experience of helping them choose portraits for their home. So let's take an example. Let's say you're a wedding photographer. In this particular wedding photographer, someone like Kelly is her ideal client. She's 31 and recently engaged, so she's not a young bride. She lives 15 minutes outside of Boston. She works in the city, makes around $55,000 a year, and she likes to shop at Nordstrom, so she visits higher end stores and reads wedding blogs like Style Me Pretty. That's really honing in on the type of customer that you can advertise to. So, who is your number one ideal client? What is the demographics? What is the geographics? And what is their behavior? You can jot this down in your workbook, or you can take a little more time to think about it and jot it in later. I'm going to take a little drink, excuse me. Part D leads us to a niche. When you combine your ideal client with your specialty, you have just created a niche. So congratulations. One of the marketers that's a premier marketer that I've studied with, Dan Kennedy, would always say there's riches and niches, meaning you want to hone in to that little subset of people. It might seem like there's not enough people out there, but you'll be surprised. There really is when you hone in to a specific demographic. So your niche is going to help you stand apart from competitors, and it's going to help you get the right clients that you can find, and they're going to be able to identify with what you offer. On your website and your marketing materials, you're going to want to make your niche evident. Let's review step one. This is just the basics of it, but so far we've covered setting goals, choosing a specialty, honing in on your ideal client, and then with those things crystallized, you're going to be able to create a niche. Moving on, we're at step two now, creating, creating profitable pricing. We're going to try to help you avoid the big pricing mistakes. When it comes to pricing, a lot of new photographers simply make it up, or worse, they base it on their competitors. Following your competitors can be very dangerous. You don't know how successful they are. They might appear successful, they might not be. You wouldn't get in your car and just follow the car in front of you thinking that they're going to take you to your destination. You don't want to put the same trust into your competitors. It's probably mistake number one. Mistake number two, a lot of photographers will compete on value, meaning they think, I'm new, I can't charge that much money. So-and-so in town is only charging this. I better charge $5 or $10 less to steal their clients away. That's not a great philosophy either. If you start with your prices super low, it becomes very difficult to raise them later. It makes you look like you're an inexpensive photographer, and it lowers the expectation that your clients are going to have from you, especially like when you did your previous exercise. If you're targeting more affluent clients, they're not going to want value photographers. They're going to want people that work with the type of people that they're familiar with. So you got to keep that all in mind. The right way to price. What is the right way to price? We've created some pricing formulas that we've developed over the 20 years that we've been in business. We take many things into consideration, and no random guessing or competitors are needed. 3 important things that you're going to use for your pricing is going to be your revenue in gold, what you want to make, your labor and expenses, actually knowing what things cost to produce, and industry benchmarks, which Professional Photographers of America have done studies on what studios should make and those type of things, so that you have some real world numbers to look at. These things added up together will give you your pricing. You're going to use formulas that are going to let you create pricing so that you know your pricing is consistent, and most importantly, your pricing is profitable. And once you feel good about your pricing, you're going to have confidence in your pricing. You're not going to be nervous to tell people what you charge for things. You're going to know there's a reason behind your pricing and why you charge what you charge. We're not going to have time to go through those formulas in total detail right now, but we're going to take an overview. So let's get started here with how you include pricing for your primary service. That's going to be your top of the line offering. Let's say if you're a pet photographer, it's your 60-minute pampered pet session, or perhaps you're a wedding photographer and it's your 6-hour wedding day coverage. What is your primary service going to be? Describe your flagship service, your offer for your specialty. Give you a few minutes to jot that down or to think about it. Okay, and if you don't have that all written down, just come back to your workbook later. When it comes to pricing your service, you first need to determine your hourly rate. Why you do this? Your service pricing should first be based on the time you put into that service. Figuring out your rate is the basis of your price. Your top of the line session might be, let's say, a 2-hour session. You need to account for all that time. You're going to get your hourly rate by deciding your yearly desired salary, the number of yearly work weeks. Let's say your salary is going to be $100,000 and you want to work 48 weeks out of the year. You want to take 4 weeks vacation, or you do a week of charity work or something, whatever's important to you. And then you're also going to divide that by the weekly work hours. Perhaps you don't want a 40-hour work week. Maybe you want 30 hours. Anyway, once you decide these numbers, divide them through, that's going to give you your hourly rate that you want to target in to make per hour. The next factor to consider is actual time that goes into a single session. Now, before the session, a lot of people forget, especially if it's a location session, you got to pack all your equipment. You got to check it. I know I go through my checklist, make sure I have batteries, have my flashes, have whatever I need so nothing gets left behind. The session time. How much time does it take you at the actual session? Is it going to be a 90-minute session? And also, to go back to the pre for 1 second, if you're traveling to a location, you want to keep that in mind. Perhaps you have to travel an hour to this session. You're going to a beach somewhere. So think of that also, the actual session time. And after the session, how much time does it take you to upload and back up all your memory cards and put all your files onto the computer? The idea here is you want to make sure your service pricing reflects all of the time and work that goes in to plan and run a session. Too many photographers don't charge appropriately for their time. This can cause you to work far too little. This can cause you to work for far too little, meaning charging too little, and then also causing you to have to overbook and do too many sessions, and it's an easy way to get overwhelmed and burnt out quickly. Okay, that's the basic formula for pricing your service. When it comes to pricing, there is a separate way to price this as far as products, because there's a lot more expenses to consider in pricing your actual products. With the products, there's 2 main categories of costs that you need to build in. There's the labor cost, including how much time you put into editing and retouching each image, the time you put into creating, running the viewing, meaning if the people come into your studio for you to sell them the images, you have to kind of include that time in there. You might spend an hour with them after the shoot. And then also packaging, inspecting the images and prints when they come in, making sure they're up to your standards, boxing them, making them presentable for the customer to pick up. Then there's also the cost of goods sold, which is going to be expenses for creating the actual physical images. That's going to be your lab printing cost, if there's any shipping cost included. And if, like we have boxes that we box the prints in at the studio, you're going to have to include the price of the box and any other materials. Here's a little pro tip, and you might want to jot this down. To increase your sales, one of the biggest things you can have is having collections. And what a collection would be, some people refer to it as a package. We use collection, it's a little more of an upscale term. You're going to encourage your clients to spend a little more because they can get something else. They can get more value for their money. And like the little picture you see here, maybe with a certain package, they get that gallery wrap, or they get the metal print, or they get what we call the shelfie, which is a 10 by 10, 3 metal prints on an easel. Do something to get them to upgrade. Here's a little sneak peek. This is our actual senior price book. You can see some of our prices and how we have collections. And also, like I said, stay tuned. Stay tuned at the end. You're going to learn how you can possibly get this entire price guide. Step 2, let's review. You're going to look at your service pricing, meaning how you price your session. You want to look at how you price your products, and you want to consider adding collections into the mix to upsell. Step 3, this is the one probably people are most interested in, how to book your first clients. Booking your first paying client is a major milestone in getting your business started. I can always remember my first clients by name. You may have photographed family and friends for free up until now, but earning your first dollar is the momentum you need to really get your name out there and to get the things rolling. When you're looking to bring in your first clients, the most obvious is family and friends, and that's the best and easiest place to start. But how do you charge when you're building your portfolio? We suggest a 3-tier model. For family and closest friends, the session would be free. You'd give them a gift, possibly a free 8x10, and then the portraits would be probably just at cost, just so you're not losing money as you start. Most family and friends are very happy with that. They want to see you get started, and they're happy to help you. So, and they're also happy to pay so that you don't lose money. They understand you're getting started. Tier number 2 would be extended family and friends. These are maybe some of your other friends, not maybe your closest friends, maybe cousins, that type of thing, not like your immediate family. Still, the session would be free. The gift would be a free 8x10, and then perhaps the portraits are discounted at 50% or 60%, whatever you feel is comfortable and fair. Once again, most people will not have a problem with this. Tier 3 is when you're getting into acquaintances. Maybe these are people that you have worked with before, co-workers or friends of friends, let's say your parents' friends or your sister's friends. You know them, but you're not real close with them. So the session might be free if you need to do that, or maybe it's 50% off this time off the session. And maybe the gift drops down to a free 5x7 instead of an 8x10. And then the portraits, the discount could be a smaller discount, maybe 30%. That's more or less what I did when I got started. As I branched out, we would drop down to these things. It worked very well, and it also still gives you a chance to build up your portfolio, because you need, for your website, you need more than just pictures of your kids over and over. People want to see different families, different faces. They will pick up quickly if they see the same 3 people over and over on every page. So after your portfolio starts to grow, that's when you start to drop the discounts. It's time to advance into marketing to earn the full price clients. How do you find your first full price clients? Earning referrals is a great thing. It doesn't cost you anything, although you could set up a referral plan where perhaps if they refer a friend, they maybe get a free 8x10 from their session, or they earn a free session for down the road. But don't be afraid to ask your clients if there's someone else that would enjoy portraits like the ones you provided for them. Oftentimes they are going to have, if it's children, they're going to have friends with children at the same age. Local partnerships, that's a great thing to do. If you say a children's photographer, if there's a little children's boutique down the street or in your town, if you can get your images into there and partner with them, that can really put you on the map. Perhaps art displays. Sometimes displays, certain businesses in town or even the town hall might have a monthly display of artists' work. Maybe you can get your work in there. Charitable marketing. Say your school, your child's school is having a silent auction to raise money. Most schools do this. You can have a portrait session and a portrait that you donate so that people will see your work out there, and that can bring you clients. And then Facebook groups. Facebook is a good thing to market to, but it's not the end all of marketing like some people think it is. You need to really get in there and start doing everything so that you have tentacles out there everywhere. We'll show you how to get the specifics on all of those at the end, but for now, let's take a moment to brainstorm. Who do you know that could make a good potential client? Take a look at your workbook and fill out the 3 columns. I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay, we're going to move on. If you didn't fill that out completely, just come back to it later. Step 3, let's review. We've covered how to get clients for your portfolio pricing, and branching out to your first paid clients. Step 4, this is a vital one, making the sale. This you really need to learn. This can really explode your income. And that's why you do all the work anyway to get the clients, is to make a sale at the end. By this point, we found how to plan for success, price for profits, and bring in those first clients. Now it's time to sell to them. There are 2 main ways photographers make sales. In person, this is where you guide the client through their images, and you help them make a purchase right there on the spot. Online is where you set up a gallery that clients can browse through at their leisure and then possibly even purchase online. We're going to take a little poll. Can you guess which method will vastly increase the amount of portraits you sell? Do you think it's A, online, or B, in person? Please type in your answer. Wow, this is a smart group we're working with. You guys got this one. 80% said in person. That's exactly true. And there's good reasons for that. But most new photographers prefer to sell online, and I think it's simply because they're unfamiliar with how to run a live consultation, and it's just much easier and it's less stress. But learning how to sell, you'll always be able to feed your family. So let's take a look at that. With online sales, you're going to lose a lot of key parts that you don't lose when you do it in person. You're going to lose part of the emotional aspect of the viewing. What we will do at the studio is either we will project or we will show the images on a large screen. So they're seeing everything for the first time in a large format. And also we do a slideshow, which is set to music. So once you have that music playing, it really becomes an emotional experience for them. And that's their first look at the images versus just logging on to a site in the middle of the night, looking at the pictures and flying through them. It loses something. When you're there, if you're not there with them, you lose the ability to communicate the value of the final portraits, of telling them how you're going to enhance those images. People, you can tell them that the retouching, we're going to fix this, or see this over here, that will be fixed. That takes care of a lot of stress that people have, that they're going to look better, or a distracting image, something in the background is going to be removed. If you're not there with them, you can't provide your expert opinion, and that's why they came to you. And that you're going to be less likely to upsell them, because you can't show them, look, if you purchase this package, you're going to also get this, or for $20 more, you can get this metal print at no cost or half cost or whatever. So you really want to do the sales in person. So let's take a look at our 7-step process for how to take the fear out of selling in person. Would you guys like to learn that? Please type in yes if you would. Okay, let's take a look at that. Step 1 is the greeting. Excuse me, is the greeting. This is when your clients arrive at your studio or you go to their home to show them their images. You want to greet them warmly, and you want to keep building that rapport that you've built from the first phone call and while they had fun at their session. Step number 2 is you're going to set the experience and set the expectations. You're going to explain exactly what's going to happen during this meeting. So we will tell them that you can sit back now, enjoy the little slide presentation we put together, and you don't have to think about choosing anything. Just view them and enjoy it, because that's going to get them ready for step 3, which is the emotional phase. It's showtime. We turn the lights down, and the slideshow starts with the music. They sit there in the darkened room and they enjoy the best of their images. Step 4 is where we're going to tell them we're going to narrow things down now. Now we're going to go through the images one by one, And we're going to get from maybe the 25 or 30 or more images that we've shown them down to a workable number, we would say about 12 or 15. I'm sorry, excuse me. Now, step 5 is introducing the products. So once we get them down to say 12 or 15, there's a reason we don't go down further than that. We're going to show them similar prints to what their images look like. So if it's a beach image, we'll show them a beach portrait that we have in a larger size and give them ideas. Is this something you want for your wall? And we always say, this is what we call volunteering the prices. We're going to show them that large one first and say, this large image for your wall is X amount of dollars. And we're going to set that high price tag in their head. They're probably not going to buy an image that large, let's say a 30 by 40 for the wall. So we know that that's okay. But having that high price tag on that image, everything else that you talk about after now seems very reasonable in comparison. Also, the reason that we leave 12 images or so is we have books and albums, little accordion albums, and those might hold 9 or 10 images. If they're going to purchase something like that, they need to keep some of those images on the table. Step 6 is probably the part that scares the most people. This is where you need to work with their objections. You're going to help them through their concerns. Some of them might be legitimate things like we mentioned, like, oh, what is that in the background? I don't like that. Okay, we're going to take that out. You're also going to help them overcome stalls. This is where people might be a little feeling uptight with the money. You're going to try to find the right package for them. We don't want people to buy more than they want or need, but sometimes people just throw out these excuses and they don't really mean it. You can work through it with them. We have a lot of people come in and say they're going to spend just $200, and they spend far more than that once they see the images and the things they can purchase. You're just going to help them go through that. And step 7 is what in sales is called the close. You're going to wrap up the sale. You're going to write up the order, and you're going to go through it with them. You know, they might make changes once they see the total. They might be fine with it. You're going to try to encourage them that they can pay in full if they like, or they will give a 50% deposit is what we ask for to start the order. And you'll go through your studio policies with them, how long they can, it might take 4 weeks for the images to come in, what they will expect. Stay tuned at the end. We're going to show you how you can get our entire script vault, which is the scripts that we have fine-tuned to use to answer a lot of those objections. So when you're in the sales presentation, you will have the confidence to sell like a pro. Let's review step 4. We looked at in-person versus online selling, which you should do in person. And we also outlined the 7-step selling process. turn your passion into a profitable business is in this course. Click on that link to access the course now. And we're very excited to meet our new students as this new session opens. We look forward. We hope you're going to be one of them. And we hope to make your dreams a reality. We're going to open it up now to some questions and answers. Okay. We have some people typing. Let's take a look at some questions, either on the course itself or on the presentation that we had today. Megan's going through some questions, trying to find the most asked question. Do you have one for us, Meg?
Yep. We have Laura. Laura asks, I work full time and I have a family. Will I be able to fit this in?
That's a good question, and that's one that a lot of people ask, is basically, will I be able to fit all this in with my busy lifestyle? That's why we set it up as an 8-week class. So there's 8 weekly modules, but just because it's an 8-week class, you do not have to complete it in 8 weeks. Of course, you will have access to this information even if you're behind. So you can take 12 weeks or 16 weeks or 6 months if that's what you need to do it at your pace. Some people will do it in 8 weeks. Some people will take a little bit longer. That being said, of course, it all depends, how serious you are about starting your business. Time, you might need to carve some time out, maybe an hour at night instead of watching television. You could, dedicate a half hour a night or an hour going through the modules and the lessons. They are broken up into smaller bite-sized pieces. So you just have to decide, what it is. But we all sometimes waste time being on Facebook or surfing the web or whatever, where if we dedicated a little bit of time, you could definitely do this. Let's see, we're going to look for some more questions.
Okay, we have Kansas C. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you do the payment plan, will you get the information after you pay or as you go along?
You will get everything as it's released. The payment plan doesn't matter. You are set on the regular plan. If you pay in full, you get the weekly lessons every week. If you pay by the month, you will still get the weekly lessons and the bonuses as they're released. So it's the same either way. It just breaks up the payments for you. Thanks for that question. That's a good one.
Okay, and we have Eric, who says, I have a fairly good idea of who my target client is. I'm just not sure how to reach them.
Well, that's a good start, Eric, that you have an idea, because some people, like we said in the webinar, do not have an idea. So having that targeted down and drilled in will definitely help you. And then the course will show you with some of the lessons how to approach those people and ways of, depending who it is, how you can approach vendors and different things to get your name out there to help you find more of that ideal client. So I think it would definitely be very helpful for you.
There's a full week on it.
There's a full week on just on that. Okay, we're gonna look for some more questions.
Okay, John has a good question. He lives in a military town and has been doing family portraits and military homecomings, but noticed a lot of spouses started doing sessions for almost nothing. How can you compete with these really low price photographers without devaluing your own work?
Yeah, that's a big thing in the industry today, John, is people doing the shoot and burn like we talk about. And that's really why you need to hone in on targeting the right clients. Some of the military people might be your clients, some may not. Maybe possibly just military families is going to be too wide a net. You're going to have to hone in a little bit on some of the people that you can show how you do things differently, how you set yourself apart, how your work is different, how the products that you offer are different, so that you stand out from just those average shoot and burn people. And we do cover a lot of that. And actually the whole digital file thing is actually a little bonus segment in there also. Thanks, John. That's a good question. We're going to look for some more here.
Okay, we have Susanna. She asks, how do you decide when to buy new equipment? Is it better to consider an investment, or should you wait until your earnings pay off?
Okay, Susanna, with the equipment, I mean, obviously there's going to be some equipment that you need to run your business. So that you might have to invest in the beginning just to have. But some of the other stuff, photographers like a lot of different gadgets and, radio control this and flashes and different things. On some of the things, you just have to decide, I think, is it something that you need that is critical to running the business, or do you wait? If it's something that you can wait on, I would wait. But if it's something that you need, if you need to upgrade your computer to a faster one so that you can process images more efficiently, then sometimes you need to invest in that thing. Or if you need a certain lens that is going to give you a certain look. But just don't buy gadgets to buy gadgets. Those you can do once you have money coming in. Sometimes it's good to make a little table of, pros and cons and kind of go through it logically and see, do you really need it? It is fun to buy new stuff though, but that's why you want to be bringing in clients so that when you need those little new things that you can afford them.
Okay, Eric just asked if the Q&A is going to be included in the replay, and just so you all know, the entire training here will be included, including the Q&A. And we have another question from Laura, who is just curious how you can access the material of the course, how it's going to be laid out.
Okay, Laura, it's all online. So we will send you a link each week with a new lesson, and then you will be able to access that material. And everything will be online, so you can do it from anywhere. If you're on vacation and you have a tablet or a laptop, you could be on the beach and access the lessons. And the only thing you would need to download will be some of the worksheets and some of the bonus items like the Photoshop templates and price guide and that type of thing. And then you can just save it to your desktop or to a memory stick or whatever, but you can do it anywhere in the world.
Okay, we have a question from Tamron. How do you store all of your digital files?
How do I store my digital files? Right now, the good news is you can buy like 4 terabyte backup drives very inexpensively. When I started, things were much more money. So it's very inexpensive, $100 or $200 for a large backup. So I will take the images that I shoot, put them into Lightroom, and then back them up in the backup drive. But what I will also do is, just to be safe, I will burn them to a DVD also, that I will have quite a few file cabinets that I keep in the basement of my home because the studio is a little smaller, but I keep those filed by customer name. So just to have a backup, if I did have a failure, I can go to the original disc. And we cover a lot of that material too on backups and procedures and processes to smooth things out. Meg has another question.
Here's a good one from Vicky. I don't have an actual studio. I go to the client's location choice. Is this a good idea, or should I have them come to me?
Hi, Vicky. That's a good question. I'm assuming when you mean client's location choice that you're talking to photograph the location, to photograph them on session, which is fine. And if you're talking about presenting the images to them, if you present them in their home after, that's also fine. And that's really something that you can market as a real niche, that you actually go to their home and do a presentation there, which can really set you apart from other photographers, that you're giving them that much added service. And the nice thing too, if you're in their home, you can easily look around and say, this would be a great wall to hang your portrait, or over this mantle. So there is nothing wrong with that if you don't have a physical studio. You just have to allow the time. It will take you a little more time that you're going to them. We're looking for some more questions.
Okay, we have another one from Susanna, who says, Can a beginner photographer start a business and through time and practice become a pro?
Yes, yes, definitely. Everybody starts as a beginner, Susanna. If I look at my work that I did 20 years ago, it looks much different from what I'm doing nowadays. You're going to be practicing your craft, so the more you do, you're going to get better and things will improve, but you do have to start somewhere. So it's okay to start your business, and then you are going to improve through time and practice. Definitely, things will definitely get better, including your photography and how you do sales and how you book people.
Okay, we have Allison, who's wondering how many hours each day would the course take, and are there lessons for every day?
Hi, Allison. We figure it would probably take you between 5 to 10 hours a week going through the course. So it's not really set up by day. It's a weekly lesson. And they're, like I said before, they're broken up into bite-sized pieces. So you can decide to do, if you have the time, you might want to do 2 or 3 hours, or you might want to do a half hour a day. And like we said, it doesn't have to be done in the week. You could take 2 weeks to do it. That's fine. The material will be there when you're ready for it. But I would say allow 5 to 10 hours, and then you can kind of plan out your how you're going to proceed with it. Okay, we're looking for some more.
Okay. So we have Crystal. She says she lives in a saturated area of new photographers. So there's a lot of photographers in her area. And she wants to specialize that something isn't already available, in the area, but is a bit of a taboo subject. So how do you go about marketing it when it's not something too many people actually want to talk about?
Okay, Crystal, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, to be honest, as far as taboo subjects. So I don't know what you're referring to. So it's a little hard to answer that, but possibly if it's kind of like such a niche thing, I would suggest maybe referrals. If you're photographing that type of subject matter, you would probably want to reach out to other people that would be in that type of, club or whatever you want to call it, that would be interested in having that photographed. But not knowing exactly what you're talking about, it's a little difficult to answer, but thank you, though.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Crystal, boudoir. Okay, that's good, because I wasn't quite sure where we were going with that. That can be done tastefully, and depending how it's done, if it's done tasteful, it really shouldn't even be that taboo a subject. In some areas, it's very popular. So I would say referrals is great on that, because women that are interested in doing that, their friends might see that and want to do that for their husband or boyfriend or the significant other. And possibly if there's like small, let's say, lingerie stores in your town or something that are not like the chains, possibly like a display in there could help. Possibly if selling something that maybe newlywed clients might be interested in, if you have brides. So that's, in some areas that's very popular. So I don't really consider that one a taboo, unless if you're in a very small town, possibly.
Thanks, Crystal. And we just want to say thank you, Cindy, who said she just signed up and can't wait to get started. We're excited to have you. Now, we have another question from Larry, who is wondering if it's bad to set up the business structure before having official clients.
Larry, I would just, if you're in the very, very beginning where you're trying to build up your portfolio a bit, I would probably just work on building that up a little bit before you unroll completely your business. But you do want to set that up relatively soon after that, once you see that you have the ball rolling so that you are official. But if you're just in the point where you're photographing family and friends and acquaintances, I don't feel it's really quite necessary. But once you're really out there and advertising, you definitely want to be covered with insurance and those other type of issues. And we have a whole chapter on that type of thing.
Great. And we have a question saying, I don't live in the US. Can I still use this material? Will this still apply if you are not in the US?
Okay, that's a great question. Yes, I would say 90% of the material will apply because marketing and getting clients and that type of thing. Where it might not apply will be in the section with, incorporating your business, because we're talking about US types of incorporation. It could be similar. And just so you know, even in the US, state to state, what's required varies a lot. So we do just do an overview on that. But that might be the main areas where it might not apply. But as far as marketing, getting clients, I think that's all pretty much worldwide type of situation. So long answer short, I would think this would be very helpful for you. We're perusing the questions, see if we have any more. Here's an email that we get sometimes from Bill. He's asking, I'm a landscape photographer. I do mostly, landscapes that I sell in like you see a gallery type of photography, more fine art photography. Will these things apply for me? Will this be helpful to me? And this is probably the one area I would say that it might not be that helpful for you. This is aimed more toward portraits that people would commission you to create, rather than taking images, creating images of something and then putting them for sale. So if you're doing, but it doesn't matter what you're being commissioned to create with this, like the question, it could be boudoir, it could be families, it could be pets. We photograph a fair amount of dogs and that type of thing, but more where somebody wants you to create something for them and they hire you for that. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending. It was great. We had a great turnout, and just thanks again for being a part of the Hobby to Pro community. And we look forward to hearing more from you. Have a good day.
And just a reminder, everyone, we will be sending out the recording. So keep an eye on your email in case anything got cut off for you. You will be able to listen to that later on.